We've just started our 6th year, and we're very, very gratified. The public turnout has been enormous. We had sellout shows at the Museum of the Moving Image in Astoria. We sold out the Paris Theater twice this evening, and there's a very robust advance sale for all of the other films. It's just so exciting. We work very hard on this festival, at least 8 months out of the year, and this is really what it's about. Our mission is to get the films, make them available for people to see them, and that's exactly what's working like a dream this year.
I have empathy for the Greeks because they suffered the same awful, dastardly deed as the Armenians did. And of course the Turkish government denies the Armenian genocide, and they deny what they did to the Greeks. So I think we need to combine forces and get them to admit they did a bad thing. Henry Morgenthau is a friend, and he said, Margaret, I think that when the Armenians came to this country, they told one another, Mortzir, forget, don't talk about it. It's embarrassing. It's a shame that you were raped and your family was killed. Don't talk about it. And the Jewish people came to this country, and they told one another, remember, remember, never again remember. And he said, I think the difference is that when the Greeks and the Armenians didn't talk about it, nobody knows about it. It's called the forgotten genocide, both of them. So we need to talk about it. And we need to remember those wonderful people who lost their lives.
I want to thank all our benefactors. Their names and logos, if their corporations appear in the book, we are very, very grateful to them. They make all of this possible.
Good evening. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are very happy to have with us the Minister of Tourism, Ms. Kefalogianni. I welcome you to this very special evening for the New York City Greek Film Festival. We're especially proud to present a very important film you will see tonight. I thank the director, Maria Iliou, for selecting the festival to show her film. Allow me to thank as well our very generous and faithful sponsors for their support, and then you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending tonight's event. Please try to attend some of the screenings. Bring your friends, your family. The festival needs you guys. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the evening.
First of all, I want to say hello to Mr. Vasilis Theodosakis. For many years, he is the unsung hero. He's been the president of the Smyrna Society and has seen to it that the event is observed every year in a dignified and proper way. There's also a lady in the audience that I would like to introduce to you. She came all the way from Florida to be with us tonight. It's a testament not only to her love of the Greek Film Festival, but to the subject matter of the film. She is Margaret Annert, and she's the author of a very interesting book called A Knock at the Door. It's a book on the Armenian Holocaust. Margaret, could you stand up and take a bow for us, please? We'd like to thank you. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the presence of members of the Kourides family here tonight. The Hellenic American Cultural Foundation suffered the loss of one of its founding members this past week, Dr. Eleni Bastea. And I am so touched that members of her family are here tonight at this very difficult time for them, but their love for the festival and their support of the festival is so strong that they felt the way to honor Dr. Eleni's memory is by being here. We're very, very grateful.
Madam Minister, General Counsel, it is welcome. It is a great honor and a wonderful experience to have worked again with Maria Iliou on a film, and everyone who contributed to it on camera and in its preparation. The destruction of the city of Smyrna in 1922 has come to symbolize the clash of nationalisms, the ethnic cleansing, and the human suffering that was unleashed during the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. It is a challenging subject for the historian and the filmmaker. We wanted to celebrate the city's cosmopolitanism without forgetting that its end involved horrific violence inflicted largely on its Armenian and Greek inhabitants and the thousands of refugees who had streamed in from Asia Minor. We have also noted the instances of when the Muslim populations also suffered. Recent Turkey should indeed put the past behind them and build strong ties between the two neighboring countries. But this friendship can be built on a more solid foundation if we acknowledge that in 1922, a cosmopolitan city on the edge of the Aegean burned and thousands of Christian inhabitants died or were expelled. Smyrna must not be forgotten, and its cosmopolitan legacy should shape the future of Greek-Turkish relations.
Madam Minister Kefalogianni, Consul General, friends, ladies and gentlemen. My personal story with Smyrna started 90 years ago. 90 years ago, my father Andreas was born in Smyrna, grew up in Smyrna in Cordeliot, learned 7 languages, and from a young age discovered the joie de vivre of this port city where East encountered West in every way. In 1922, after the destruction of the city, Andreas, still a child, came to live in Athens. Ever since my childhood, Smyrna has haunted me. Smyrna existed everywhere, in our life, in our apartment on Solomon Street, where I grew up. Smyrna existed in our discussions, in our dreams and in our nightmares. The acceptance of otherness, novel ideas, music, laughter, but also nostalgia for the enchanted place that my father had described, survived in every way in our day-to-day life. No other city on earth was so exceptionally unique. The expression, "the rings fall off, but the fingers remain," recurred frequently, as did the idea that through friendship, human relationships, and creativity are more important than anything else, not material goods that can disappear at any moment. In my nightmares, Smyrna was burning, and the sea filled with corpses turned completely red, while I tried to save myself, tossing and turning in my bed. Since then, I have tried to imagine the life of the city before the destruction, but the photographs had been destroyed in the fire. Since then, I wanted to look through a keyhole or a lens to see everyday life, but also what truly happened and led to the destruction of the city. Smyrna was always in our homes, reminding us that cosmopolitan cities never cease to exist, even if they travel elsewhere. When I left for my studies abroad, and when I later lived and worked in different countries, I remained astounded that our Smyrna, the city of cosmopolitanism and of joie de vivre, but also Smyrna of lament and destruction, was unknown to the general public in Europe and in the US. That was when I first read Henry Miller's phrase, "The Smyrna affair has been expunged from the memory of present-day man." The idea of making a film about Smyrna became an obsession. For years, I waited the right moment to narrate the story of the city. The chance to do so presented itself a few years back, during the time we were working with Alexander Kitroeff, the Greek-American Dream, presented at the Bernati Museum in 2007 and in the Metropolitan Museum here in 2008. It was then that I discovered our own films and photographs of Smyrna. I felt that the time had come to finally see the city through the real images of Smyrna. Simultaneously, the journey had already brought a felicitated collaboration with Alexander. We began to work together again, once more, and for the next 4 years, it was as if we were digging the same tunnel from 2 different sides. Alexander through the viewpoint of the historian, for me, from the point of view of the filmmaker, where images turned into narrative structure and material. And so, the moment has come to talk not only about cosmopolitan Smyrna, but also about the destruction, honoring those who lost their lives, but also honoring the discipline of history. This documentary is presented 90 years after the destruction of cosmopolitan Smyrna. We bring back images that were lost, locked away in closed cupboards from American and European archives. However, we also take a new approach to the history of Smyrna, an approach that keeps its distance both from a nationalistic narration of the story and from more recent attempts to conceal the tragic events of the destruction, thereby distorting the truth. Furthermore, this documentary was created with a strong belief that while Cosmopolitan Smyrna was destroyed in a tragic way, somehow Smyrna continues to live on. Smyrna continues to be an idea, a way of life that has to do not only with pain and lament, but also with the good moments of life, cosmopolitanism, and the joie de vivre. You can carry Smyrna with you wherever you are. Before the screening will start, I would like to thank warmly Jimmy the Metro and the New York Greek Film Festival for inviting the film, Alexander Kitroeff, my closest collaborator, our crew and the people that became part of the film. Tonight is also here Eleni Bastea. Where are you, Eleni? That narrates very important testimonies, as well as Jacques Manvantian, that is sitting there. Both gave very important and very moving testimonies. I would like also to thank wholeheartedly friends and sponsors from both sides of the Atlantic that made this film possible. I would like to name the sponsors of the film one by one. Argyros Foundation, Nicholas and Anna Boura Foundation, James Chanos, National Greek Television, Yannis Kostopoulos Foundation, Maria Iliou Foundation, Motorcycles Foundation. And as always, in every film, also this time, a warm thank you to Elena Bastea, that is actually now in Athens. But now, let's let the images to do the talking. I hope you will enjoy it.
When you see these things repeating themselves in history, you begin to wonder whether us human beings need to learn something from that destruction. The use of raw power, nationalism, in its raw form, is destructive, and I think we need to examine the experience of Smyrna. We must not forget the experience of Smyrna. This is important. And we must not forget the experience of Cyprus. Just learn from it as a nation, how to survive with our neighbors and how to do better. Because obviously those bad experiences for us were, to some degree, and we have to recognize that, our own fault, and we have to learn from it.
Well, I thought it was extremely informative. I thought it was very balanced, and I thought it really did a good job of being, even after telling such a horrific tale, being in the end very uplifting and sending a very positive message out.
Being of Greek heritage, I thought I knew a lot about Smyrna and the catastrophe, and something that to everybody of Greek background, it's something that it's just part of the heritage of these horrific events.
This audience probably knew the story as well as the audience that saw it in Greece. A lot of my relatives who saw it on Greek TV or more recently in the movie theater would send me emails or call and say, it really helped us understand that history that we were not taught in school. One of my nieces actually sent me a long email after watching the film in Greece. She said Smyrna was like an impressionist painting, and how dare people and politicians and so on destroy that beautiful impressionist painting. I know that it reverberated with people on so many levels that maybe it's not apparent the moment we get out of the movie theater, but as they incorporate it, they really responded to it.